Hello, thanks for being in a new video. This time I'm unboxing the Motorola Edge 50 Ultra. Let's get started. This is Motorola's high-end device, so let's get to know its specs and everything that comes in the box. The box, by the way, comes much bigger compared to the box of other high-end devices, so that's excellent news. It means, at least in theory, that it should indeed come with a charger and maybe some other surprises. In this case, Motorola, right out of the box, is giving us a preview of what's coming with this Color of the Year collaboration. We'll take a specific look at it in a moment. Let's take it out of the box. And just as with other Motorola devices, it comes with scent. So if the videos could record the scent, it might convey to you what it smells like, but that's not the case. So imagine you walked into a department store where they sprayed perfume on you, so it smells nice. Although it is a bit strange because it is not something we are used to, but that is Motorola's proposal. Notice that in the lid of the box there is an envelope. And in this envelope, notice that we find this quick guide to the device. It shows us its parts and other things, basic information, and there is also the key to remove the tray. But what catches my attention is that it also includes a case that is the same color as the device. This is a very good thing because there are other manufacturers that include a transparent case that later turns yellow and other manufacturers that do not even include a case. So Motorola, I think, does an excellent job incorporating this case with a nice color, even a nice feel, and it is a hard case that will surely give a good level of protection to the device. That's all that's coming up on this side, so now let's get the cell phone out. And notice that here we already have the device in a very nice color finish. As you know, it's the color of the year chosen by Pantone, and not only is it a nice color, but it also comes with a very soft touch with faux leather, which is very different from the faux leather that we find on mid-range devices. Here it gives us a much softer and very nice feel. And also remember that this device also has a wood edition, which would definitely be even more premium. I would have loved to review that version, but in this case we have this one, which looks very nice anyway. Let's see what it looks like with the case on. It somehow retains its color, although I find that it does raise its saturation a bit. But I think it does give it a nice level of resistance without losing this nice design touch. So, while this device is on, how about we see what else is in the box? As you can see, it includes a tremendous 125-watt charger. This is great news, not only because it includes a charger, because in other high-end devices we don't find a charger, but also because it's an exaggeratedly powerful charger. So we are going to enjoy this experience very much. Later we will be publishing a charging test so you can see for yourself how long it takes to charge this device. I anticipate that it will charge very fast. So, now let's focus on the cell phone and put away the rest of the contents of the box. But first, I was forgetting to tell you about the price. In Mexico, it has been launched at 19,999 pesos. On the screen, you see the reference price in dollars. That being a device of the highest range, it is definitely positioned as one of the cheapest. So it can become something very attractive considering that it includes case, includes charger, and its price is not as high as other flagship devices. But let's get to know its specifications. I already have the device set up here, so let me tell you a few facts. It has a weight of 197 grams and a thickness of 8.59 millimeters. Although obviously it could vary in other versions with different materials. But overall, the design is quite stylish. Notice that it also has a curved screen, so it gives it a much more premium touch. Although there are people who don't like the curved screen, but definitely that looks very premium. This screen is 6.7 inches in its diagonal with OLED technology. The resolution is 2712 by 1220 pixels, and it has 144 Hz in its refresh rate. This display has a peak brightness of 2500 nits, HDR10 Plus compatible and protected with Gorilla Glass Victus. Everywhere you look, it's definitely a high-end display, although there is already Gorilla Glass Victus 2. So, there's a little bit of a cut there where they've probably tightened the budget as well to try to give as economical as possible this device. But honestly, in the rest of the features, it's a really very good screen. And of course, we will find stereo sound with one speaker below and another speaker above. I love that the second speaker is placed in the frame, because in many occasions they integrate it together with the earpiece for calls. But I personally find it to be a more symmetrical sound when it's in the frame. Although they don't have a totally symmetrical placement, but at first impression I like it. The front camera is 50 megapixel with f1.9 aperture and autofocus. That is to say that it has good resolution, good aperture and also good focus. Three parameters that in a front camera do not usually come together. See here, I took a screenshot of the preview before I took the picture so you can see how burnt the preview looks. But after I took the picture, I think it balances highlights and shadows better. It does a very good job, and the fact that it has autofocus is going to allow your pictures to come out with an excellent level of detail. So the front camera doesn't disappoint me. So far I like it a lot. And on the back we find the 50 megapixel ultra-wide camera with f2.0 point aperture and autofocus. So it's also good for macro shots. Then there's the 50 megapixel main camera with f1.6 aperture, optical stabilization and autofocus. And finally the telephoto camera with 3x optical zoom, a 64 megapixel sensor, f aperture 2.4 and of course it also has optical stabilization. And this that you see in the middle of the two cameras is a 2f sensor for enhanced autofocus. In fact, here it also has a flicker sensor, so it's a considerably advanced system. Although compared to other high-end devices, maybe the optical zoom falls a bit short. But it comes with a high-resolution sensor, so it can help you. Here we are going to see some examples. This picture, I took it with the high-resolution mode, so you can appreciate how it definitely can give us an excellent level of detail with these 50 megapixels. Both in the main camera and in the ultra-wide camera. So in both cases, we can have pictures with an excellent level of detail. In fact, also with the telephoto camera, we can have a photograph in high resolution and see how we can visualize very well detailed photographs. So in that sense, it fulfills perfectly. Now we will see some photographs where we will be able to appreciate the full distance covered by these cameras. This is the ultra-wide camera. Now you're looking at the main camera, then the 3x zoom camera. Definitely so far all the pictures look very detailed. Now you're looking at the 5x 10x zoom. In this case, I've now moved on to a 15x zoom where you're still seeing an excellent level of detail. Maybe through the camera you can't see as much detail as I can. I've already adjusted the brightness a bit to make it look better. So at this setting we still have good quality. Even at 30x we still have good quality, but I would say it's already the maximum zoom where we'll still see a good picture. Now you're looking at 50x and the maximum, which is 100x, where from my point of view already the zoom looks a little bit forced, but definitely that going from the ultra-wide camera to the 100x zoom is pretty impressive in all the range that it manages to cover. And also remember that the ultra-wide camera does have macro capabilities. So take a look at this picture that I managed to capture. Just so you have a reference, it's this same sheet, but in this case I captured it with the main camera. So this is as close as you can get with the main camera, and if you want to get closer, the ultra-wide camera can reveal a lot more detail. It's definitely a very good camera. And something I also liked is that it allows you to take portrait shots at different focal lengths, and all of them show good quality blur and foreground detection. In the review, we will see a little more detail about the performance of this camera. The device can record video in 4K. With any of the cameras. This includes the front camera, so it performs well in video recording. The battery is 4,500 mAh. It falls a bit short compared to batteries in current high-end devices. So that's probably its main weakness. Although in the review we are going to do a much more specific test to see if Motorola somehow manages to take advantage of this small battery that it incorporates. But in conjunction with its 125-watt charger, it will certainly charge very quickly. Since combining a small battery with such a powerful charger can definitely help. It additionally brings 50 watts wireless charging and also reverse wireless charging. So it has everything we could ask from a high-end device in this regard. This device integrates a fingerprint reader inside the display. It's an optical reader, so it's not as fast as the ultrasonic ones, and maybe if you have a wet finger it can get some complications. But it's nothing really serious. By the way, it has the IP68 level of water resistance as it should be. It has 512 gigabytes of internal storage, and just turned on it notes that it had 36 gigabytes already used. So it's a device that does come with a fair amount of used space, but fortunately all the space that's free is also very ample. It also has 12 gigabytes of LPDDR5X RAM, and you can put a micro SD up to a terabyte. So in storage and RAM, we can't complain one bit. And finally, the processor is the Snapdragon 8S Gen 3. which if you didn't know is very similar to the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. So in power, it could come up a little short compared to the current high-end that integrates the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3. But if you like to rely more on benchmarks, watch, this was the score it managed to get in Antutu. 1,494,704 points. And in Geekbench, in a single core, had 1,929 points. And in multi-core, 4,990. So as I say, it's not the most powerful thing you'll find today. But for the vast majority of users, it's more than enough power. In the review, I will tell you many more details, and of course, we will also put it to the test in games, video editing, and many other things. So it will be much clearer what kind of experience it can give you. For the moment, we have reached the end of this video. If you liked it, you know you can let us know, and we'll see you next time.